right, friends, it's time to get started on replacing our thermostat housing. Now, when you're replacing the housing, it really only makes sense to go ahead and replace the thermostat with the gasket at the same time. I'll set this aside. The next thing we're going to do is make sure that everything is nice and cool to the touch. After that, we can carefully open up our radiator here. I just press this down, turn it counterclockwise, lift it up and away from myself, and then we'll set this aside. Now the next thing we're going to do is look straight down along the engine here. You're going to be able to find the petcock. That's going to be the area that we're going to drain the coolant. You also want to make sure that you have a nice collection bucket located underneath this area. That way there it's going to collect that fluid for you so you can recycle it when you're done. Let's go ahead and turn this counterclockwise and let some coolant come out. We'll let that completely drain and then we'll continue. All right, at this point, it looks like it's just pretty much trickling out. Let's go ahead and close up that petcock. You want to make sure that this is nice and tight so there's no way it can leak on you while you're driving down the road. The next thing we're going to do is move along to removing the hose clamp that holds the hose to the thermostat housing itself. Go ahead and squeeze the two ears together here, and then we'll just try to draw this off. Let's go ahead and squeeze this clamp. We're going to try to slide it down the hose here. There we are. Now we can take a nice pick. And I'm essentially just going to try to get in between the thermostat housing and the hose, being very careful not to damage the hose in any way. And essentially, I just want to try to work my way around to try to separate the two. After that, we'll go ahead and slide it right off of the thermostat housing. That feels good. Sometimes there might still be coolant in here, so it's a good idea to go ahead and move your bucket over. There we are. Just slide that out of the way. Once you have the hose off, let's continue on to removing our mounting hardware. You're going to find a stud up top that has a nut holding the thermostat housing on, and then underneath this area, which is a little harder to see, there's another one under there. Let's go ahead and use our 10mm socket. Put it right on here. It's a good idea to use some penetrant. You don't want to go ahead and break off any of that mounting hardware. Just to see if we can get it to break free. It's on there pretty good. There we are. Now sometimes on these, the whole stud's just going to come right out of there. That's what it looks like right there. We'll go ahead and set this aside. Now I'm just going to get my hand underneath here, find my mounting hardware. Now once again, there might be coolant behind this area, so just keep that in mind. Grab onto that thermostat housing. We're going to give it a little wiggle here and remove it from the vehicle. If you're not going to be replacing the thermostat at the same time, you're going to have to get this out of here. This is going to be very simple overall. I'm just going to grab onto it and try to give it a little twist, and it should want to break free. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is, of course, inspect this thermostat. You need to ensure that it looks as though it's still in good working order. As you can see along the gasket area here, I do have some corrosion. I'm just going to go ahead and try to wipe this off, see if I can get it as clean as possible, and then we'll re-lubricate it, and then we can install it into the brand new thermostat housing. Once you have your thermostat gasket cleaned, let's make our way back over to the engine. This area right along here is exactly where the thermostat's going to need to sit, so you need to go ahead and make sure you clean out any debris that might be inside that area. I'll just use a nice clean rag. A little bit of coolant sitting in this area isn't really too big of a deal. It's mostly just any debris that you might happen to find. So just go ahead and make sure you get it all out. Now when we go to install the thermostat into the engine, we want to make sure that we have this little bobble right here facing upwards. You don't want to have it sitting in any other location because it's not going to be able to function properly. So let's go ahead and line this up, slide it right in there, and then we can grab our thermostat housing and get ready to mount it. Right in. I'm going to put that so it's facing straight up as possible. Now if when you were removing your hardware, you came to find that trying to remove the nut actually ended up pulling out the entire stud from the engine, the best idea for this would be to go ahead and remove the nut from the stud and then reinsert the stud into the engine, and then of course you would put on your hardware. So with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some locking pliers, and I just want to get on this non-threaded area right there. If you were to try to use a vise or something like, there's pretty good odds you're more than likely going to damage it. So I'm just going to carefully get right in there, make sure this is nice and tight so it can't spin. If you wanted to, you could apply a little bit of heat to this. Generally that is going to help, but of course you're also going to want to make sure that you use penetrant. Spray some on there. Now while I'm holding it, I'll just go ahead and try to turn off this nut, see if it spins. Now I did actually have to use a little bit of heat on this. Now I'll just bring this to the bench grinder. I'm going to clean up the threads. Once your threads are cleaned up, let's continue on with an inverted Torx bit. This is the size E6. Essentially, we want to make sure that we have something that basically the head of this can fit right into, and then we can go ahead and turn this into the engine. We'll just bottom it out, and then we'll continue. To do this, I'm going to start with the bottom one. Tool down in here. Try to get my hand out of the way. Of course, we're going to do the same exact thing to the top one. Now it's time to install our brand new thermostat housing. When we do this, we want it essentially facing in this direction. Now we'll just go ahead and put on both of our mounting nuts. We'll bottom them out, and then we'll torque them to 7 foot-pounds. It's not very much. Now we can torque this. Put your hose back on. Squeeze your clamp, slide it back into place. When you go to release this, you want to try to have the clamp in the exact same position on the hose as when you removed it initially. Okay, now at this point, we're going to go ahead and fill up the cooling system with the manufacturer specified fluid, and then we'll go ahead and run the vehicle for a short while so we can burp out any air in the system. Okay, so now once you've run the vehicle long enough so that the cooling fans turn on, the next thing you're going to do is just go ahead and get this thing right out of the way. We'll drain this into a coolant bucket. I'm just going to give it a little squeeze here on the hose. Plug this. Now we can relieve this. Put this back into my coolant bucket here. Remove the rest of this. Let's get our radiator cap back on here. Double check to make sure your coolant overflow is up to par. This looks great. After that, we're going to go ahead and take it for a road test and make sure we have plenty of heat inside the passenger compartment.